Okay, who went to the games? How was the transport?
Brilliant.
Right answer. Because if it hadn't been good, wouldn't have been here tonight. Big gap in the program, which I'm sure Suki would have filled. So this is the biggest behaviour change campaign in history. That's no exaggeration, and I'm going to do it in 16 minutes, no problem. So it's about 7 years' work, down to 16 minutes. So the background. This is the train spotter bit. There's normally about 12 million journeys per day by public transport, 12 million on the roads. We were expecting about 500,000 spectators. There are over 50,000 media alone for the games every day for 16 days solidly. So maybe up to 1 million extra visitors a day, and on the busiest day, up to 3 million extra journeys. That's on a system which, as you know, is pretty loaded most of the time. We built 109 miles of something called the Olympic Route Network, which had lots of controls and constraints on it. And there were also 30 miles of the dreaded games lanes, which you and I couldn't go in. They were for low cog use only. As we'll see, they didn't get necessarily as needed as they were. Major delays were forecasted. Travellers didn't change their behaviour. We were talking about delays of 30 minutes, an hour queuing maybe at major stations if people didn't sort of change their behaviour. We'd invested about £6.5 billion in the transport system, and the world was watching. So, typical, very strong media support, as you can imagine. What did people think? How was it going to go? It was going to be a shambles. Remember all that? Chaos. So we were feeling pretty confident, as you can imagine. So what was our task? Which was two tasks really: to keep London moving, as in you and I going about our daily work, but also to support a successful games, supporting that level of visitors that we saw earlier. So there's millions of visitors and media coming. Reduce what was called background demand by an average of 30%. So we would have been background demand. So people going around their regular work in London, we needed to get that down by an average of 30%. So all the public transport, all the driving, everything 30% down. Not blanket, but our expression was certain times, certain places. You know, focusing on particular hotspots, places like London Bridge, some of the key stations, some of the key road interchanges. Particularly reduce traffic, particularly in central London, which of course the London Games were unique in the sense that London was a venue itself. So we had to reduce traffic in central London, more so in the Games, less so in the Paralympic Games, which was the Paris tended to be more focused on the park, whereas the main Games ran all across London. So the campaign that we developed, hopefully you're sick of the sight of it now. This was some of the lead imagery of it. Strong use of illustration. That was very helpful to the way we could portray a wide range of groups of people. Very, very flexible. Developed by M&C Saatchi, who won that particular pitch. They're our lead agency, but they won this separately. This project, and I imagine they're all feeling pretty tired as well. So that was the the campaign style. How will your travel be affected during the Games? And really what we were trying to do was a three-stage program, classically raise awareness of the activity, of the thing coming, then drive people to sources of information, and then thirdly get people to activate and actually do something about it. They were the three stages. A key element of the campaign was a website, getaheadofthegames.com, which we were driving people to as much as possible, because actually the detail of all the different travel arrangements was so complex. You're never going to get that across in a single above the line campaign. So quite an unusual website, because we were completely transparent in every aspect of the London transport. We published the forecast loadings at every single station, every single road, everything, you could go and you could look at what the road situation could be like, and what it would be like if we got the design right. So completely transparent. Also, people could use it in apps and all the rest of it. So it was totally available. We had to this website and the TfL website about 38 million visits during the period of the games, and to get ahead of the games on its own, we had about 8 million visits to the website, which is when websites get finished, it's been packaged up and it's sent off to it's parked at the British Library now. It's sort of, that's what you do. You sort of it's gone off and it's been sort of done its job. We're all quite sad when it went. So bits of the campaign, the lead imagery was taken forward. We're flagging up. We were keen on people doing things like walking, maybe quicker during the games. One of the things to highlight was actually many journeys that people take are actually, particularly in central London, are walked quicker than they would be on the tube or even the bus. Work from home, and that was a key component. And again, we were working with businesses across London, thousands of meetings with businesses, maybe with many of your own, engaging with people like the IPA and also all sorts of every industry body to get people to understand what they needed to do. Did some clever things, put this campaign all over the tube and transport system. Freight. Distribution. We had a separate campaign. There was a real fear that the capital could run out of beer. That was a genuine. Because you tend to think about us, people going, doing sort of consumer stuff, but actually, the capital runs on distribution. Andy Mullins, I think, from the Evening Standard here, we worked very closely with all businesses, to make sure they could get their stuff around. Changing the rules about deliveries during the night and things like that. And again, a completely dedicated freight journey planner was developed. So for freight hauliers to plan their journeys, where you can park, where you couldn't park, where you couldn't turn, all the rest of it. And that's become a legacy of the game. So we still have that. We went right down to sort of individual station level. So 150 plus of the stations and bus stops, the shelters, had specific campaigns just done for those stations. Thousands and thousands of bits of artwork, which were changed on a weekly basis on the run into the games. I mean, it was those Gantt charts you do, grids of campaign planning. It was sort of like that, and it was just day in, day out planning. Individual, this was an example of an individual poster at London Bridge, which told you to walk down there and turn left and turn right. And we had about 1,000 of those at other different stations across London. We sent out more than 100 million emails in the sort of during the period of the campaign, and was actually a key component. Whenever we sent an email out, up went the traffic to getaheadofthegames.com. Massive amount, and people got emails according to where they were travelling. So what station they used, or did they drive, what they did. So they would get an email specific to their particular piece of travel. Get Ahead of the Games was tweeting. Many people have said that this was the first truly digital games, and that there were more tweets in the first day of this Olympics than there was in the whole of the Beijing Olympics. There were thousands and thousands of tweets. So we really engaged with social media, and people could get on the move directions about things that might be happening if they were following Get Ahead of the Games. And Get Ahead of the Games had tens of thousands of followers. More importantly, those tweets were retweeted. So a very, very powerful part of the campaign, particularly with influencing sort of opinion forms as well. 6 million walking maps we gave out, 5 million visitor maps, and 18 million tube maps. That's just the mapping. We gave out there were 10 million door drops around the direction of all the road events, and stickers in people's windows, you name it. And there was about 140,000 individual pieces of consultation material, because every single thing we do in London, you have to consult borough by borough, 32 boroughs Every single borough had its own consultation programme. I could talk for probably 16 minutes about that alone. We put up 250,000 signs. These are magenta, by the way, not pink, magenta. Put up 250,000 of these to direct people, and the sheer weight of the signage around the place gave that sense of, something is going on. And again, we will probably retain some of this type of signage for major events going forward. Again, signs everywhere. Really important part of getting people, particularly visitors, didn't know London, getting them around the capital. This was the famous fastest route to London poster, which came in for some criticism. Well, we were very keen for everybody not to go direct to the games through Stratford. People had to get off at West Ham, otherwise the system wouldn't work. So we convinced people that you could get to West Ham in 15 minutes by walking. Those signs were put up about 2 days before the games began, when we realised that we needed to, you talk about 7 years in the planning, and there were some things that were left quite late. Paralympics, there were special arrangements for the Paralympics. Clearly, you had more disabled people just as visitors, but also people getting around. Every single station had its own particular Paralympics guideline, which went down to telling people what door they should stand by to get on or off the tube. And again, that's a legacy thing. Our journey planner now will tell you that if you're disabled. But most importantly, we had our secret weapon.
Hi folks, it's the Mayor of London, and this is the big one. With 1 million extra visitors daily for the Games, London will become a massive sporting and cultural venue, and our roads and public transport services are going to be exceptionally busy. So don't get caught out. Consider walking or cycling as part of your journey. It's a superb way to soak up the Games atmosphere. See how your regular journeys will be affected at getaheadofthegames.com.
What a trooper. Hey, what a man. But, maybe, this was our secret weapon. Fantastic level of staff. We had our own ambassadors. There were games ambassadors from the mayor's office. There were the games makers, so that massive commitment and enthusiasm and energy of these thousands of people that we were able to deploy for the games. So off we went. Great. So you do your job. Very interesting, the whole media management of this sort of thing. No, it wasn't really a ghost town. Actually, it all got going. It really was fantastic. Maybe a bit of a slow start, but it all got going. These were athletes who were using the transport system. They were bailing out of their BMWs, and they were using the transport system themselves. You couldn't get a better testament than that. We started to have a bit of fun with it. We actually hadn't planned these signs, but we started putting up signs to Rio, and mind the gap in Portuguese, which took a bit of working out. Staff really got behind it. Next stop, Rio 2016. So what were the results? Around a third of customers changed regular journeys, mostly by a small change to time of travel. Traffic levels in central London reduced by around 15%. Transport operated smoothly. We had record numbers, interestingly, so it wasn't a ghost town at all. 4.57 million on one day of the tube. Records on the DLR, Overground, Barclays Cycle Hire had millions of people going on it. And transport consistently rated as a positive feature of the Games. Most importantly, from my perspective, trust and brand momentum for TfL doubled. I don't know how long it'll double for, but it has doubled. And it wasn't so bad. We were, for once, transport had done well. So we went back and said thank you, and put our horse out and said thank you, and we even did a cheeky little Olympics poster as well. Thank you very much.